I'm joined now by the chairman of the Association of Master Bakers and Caterers of Nigeria, Abuja chapter. I'm joined by Mr. Ishaq Abdulrahim. Thank you very much for coming on Business Daily this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me in today.
Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
You have heard from Nigerians, quite a lot of responses. Some of them are saying, good job to NAFDAC. Some of them are saying, why should we even be complaining about the standard of bread we're eating when we are unable to, eat 3 square meals on a daily basis? But let us hear from you now. What would your response be, to NAFDAC's allegations, especially regarding, the alarm that NAFDAC has raised and talking about the substandard breads that are being produced by, some bakeries across the nation?
Yeah, good morning, and thank you for inviting me again.
Thank you.
Let me start by this. Like you said, I am the chairman of Abuja chapter of the Association of Master Bakers. And in Abuja here, NAFDAC and we at the association are working closely. Why? Because we don't want any leakage to come out from our side. And NAFDAC are always guiding us in FCT. Let me tell you, in FCT, any member that is registered with us had gone for a training, and that training is being done by Olam for a week, where every orientation is given to every member. So in FCT, we don't have that challenge. I can tell you that whatever is going on in the social media is not for FCT. In FCT, we have reputable organizations, we have reputable companies that are producing bread, away from what they are saying in the social media.
Okay, unfortunately, let me cut you short, but we will continue the conversation after the break. To stay. And you're still watching Business Daily, coming to you live on Trust TV. And just before the break, we started a conversation on the allegations by the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, that has raised alarm over the proliferation of substandard bread and other regulated products in the Southwest region. But I'm joined again by my guest, who is the chairman of the Association of Master Bakers and Caterers of Nigeria, Abuja chapter, in the person of Ishaq Abdulrahim. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
And we also have the secretary of the association as well, who is in the person of Richard Adeyemi. Thank you for coming on Business Daily today.
Very good morning.
Okay, I'll begin with you again, sir. You had started, speaking towards these allegations by NAFDAC, and can you continue with your thoughts, especially on, the concerns that NAFDAC has raised?
Yes, like I said, I'm the chairman of FCT. I don't want to talk beyond FCT. In FCT, we have surpassed that level. Why? Because every of our member is a trained member. We have an agreement with Olam. Olam train every of our member that is registered for 1 week to ensure that these things are not used. So our members are very learned. We don't have such cases here. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there was a time NAFDAC did an independent test. They just go to bakeries and say, give us your sample of your bread. I'm waiting for that result to come out.
Released by NAFDAC.
Yes, because I know you can never find any bromate or saccharin use in FCT. Our level has passed that one. We have reputable organizations. We have reputable bread companies in FCT. We can't do that. Our members are more learned. We have learned members in FCT. So you don't expect such things to happen in FCT. No. And let me even tell you, it is not even profitable for people that are using bromate or saccharin. By the time you do your valuation, when you put sugar, it will have more value of money than using bromate or you're using saccharin. Saccharin will make it, you will lose a lot of money. So it is not viable. For those of us in FCT, no, we don't use it. Apart from the training school that we do, which I said, we have on monthly basis, we have a rapport with our members. trying to bring them the modern way of doing our businesses. So there's no, in FCT you can't find that.
Well, I believe that is good news. Music to the ears of bread eaters in the FCT.
Yes, in FCT.
But let me move now to you, Mr. Adeyemi. Yes. I would like for you to be more specific on the quality control measures that, the Association of Master Bakers and Caterers of Nigeria, Abuja chapter, ensures that they carry or they do, maybe on a monthly basis, maybe on a weekly basis. But what quality measures are there?
As a formidable associations, and since we have taken up the leadership of this association, we have been up and doing. We make sure there's an internal mechanism in which we checkmate the activities of our members. So we don't just leave them there. We are not just there for their sake. So, as my chairman has rightly said, we do have a monthly rapport with the directors, not the workers per se. Because you are the owner of the business, you put in all what you have, and I believe you will not just allow your hard end to just go like that. So we always come together, then we discuss together, we have a rapport together, and we tend to solve as many problems as many challenges, let me use that word, that the industry is facing. And this through those avenues, then we tell them, we make them to know this is what is obtainable, this is what is good for, Then we rate our customers, the end consumers, in a very high esteem. And we are always there at every point in time to produce what will satisfy them. We cannot just produce what is not edible or what is injurious to human health. I, as a person, as a baker, as owner of a bakery now, do you expect me to go and buy another better product? And my family, we do eat bread every now and then. I can remember about 2 weeks ago now, we have a function somewhere that we have to, just as we come here now, sometimes when we have a function, people will say, where your bread, where your bread? And we have to go along with bread and we just give them bread whenever we are off with the program. So my chairman just see my bread, he say, Rona, is this, I will go home with one of your loads. I say, you are free to go. And at the same time, about 2 months ago, we had a similar something of which I took his bread and I was going home with our PRO. Then when we reach around the airport side there, I say, it's like I'm having some feeling and I need to eat. We just went to the supermarket there, we bought a soft drink and they say, at least the bread I wanted to take home, that is my own chairman bread. I just have to lose it inside the vehicle and we end up eating it. So had it been this, I know that it's something that will affect me, I wouldn't have do that. So we don't produce a substandard product in Abuja here.
Okay, well, good to know that you are able to consume what you produce. Not so many people can, boast of such. So good to hear that. But over to you now, Mr. Chairman. One thing that NAFDAC did say, was acknowledging the current economic hardships that are not just that is not just evident in the bread sector, but generally, speaking and saying that that there are current economic pressures on bakers who have now decided to use this other means to, I don't know, maybe enhance or make more sales. But let us hear from you. What is the state of the current bread making sector now in Nigeria? Because I have an idea, but let us hear from you. What are the major concerns that members of your association bring to the table?
The major concern we're having is the inflation rate. Today you buy a bag of flour, 69,000 naira. Tomorrow you go back, they have added another 5,000 naira. When you go back the next week, it has increased again. That's the same thing that has to do with even the sugar. I think that is the major bottom line where this issue is coming up. Maybe or you've heard that we increase price of bread.
That is common knowledge at this point.
Why do we increase the price? If we are to use shakari or to use bromate, we won't increase price. But because we know that for us to break even, we have to do the right thing. And that's why if the market price increase, we increase our price of bread. If the market price of flour and other condiments reduces, we reduce our price as well. So the basic thing there is that there's a problem between the millers and the dealers where we buy our flour, or not only flour. It's unfortunate that we Nigerians are the one punishing ourselves. They just increase price arbitrarily. I don't know why.
Are you saying this price increase is artificial?
Sometimes yes, it is. I will tell you. You know, there was this issue that came up for 10 days.
The End Bad Governance protest?
Yes, exactly. Tell me why the price of flour will increase. The same product. Within that period, I know flour came in. It is the same flour they have. It was sold 65,000. The thing went to 69,000. The thing went to 75,000. It went to 80,000. In fact, it went to 85,000 in some places. Why? The same product that you kept in your store, just because there's a shortfall, because within that time, no businessman will want to risk putting his vehicle on the road, because anything can happen. They can vandalize what is inside, and they can as well burn the vehicle. So the people stayed away. But the same product they had is the same product they were increasing prices. Not only flour, all of them. So I think it is Nigerians. We need to fear God and caution ourselves that one day all these things will leave it in this world.
But I would like to get a better understanding of the gap you mentioned. You know, you talked about a challenge between the millers and the dealers. What exactly is the challenge right there?
The millers produce, the dealers buy, and the receptors. So if the miller did not increase price and the dealer is increasing price, then something's wrong. The miller, I had an opportunity, we had an interface with the dealers, with the millers, and my association at the national level, and another agency of Nigeria. I will not say the agency, but an agency in Nigeria. We met, and they said even if they increase price by only 3,500. And at that time, the dealers are selling it more than 15 to 20,000 increase from the way it was before. So I think it is artificial. It is done by human beings like us. Interesting, those that are interested in making big profit at the detriment of the masses. But as far as we are concerned, we don't have any issue. It's because we buy, what we buy is what we sell.
But at the end of the day, Nigerians are the ones that, bear the brunt of this. Bread is a staple in almost every Nigerian home, at least for breakfast.
That's why agencies that are concerned with consumer issues should pick it up and make sure that every person is doing the right thing. We are doing the right thing.
But what are you proposing? Over to you now, Mr. Ademi. What will you be proposing in the area of price control, especially, to ensure that this gap that Mr. Chairman has explained that exists between the millers and the dealers is closed?
Well, to us as a master bakers now, it becomes very difficult for us. The really issue that we are the one that bear the burden. Like doing the head governance we are talking about, when there was just an artificial increment in price. I believe some of these dealers are making an average of 15 to 20,000 naira per each bag as they are making. And on that ground, it becomes very difficult for us. It's even totally impossible for us to increase our price. Then what will happen? We just have to keep going. We can't increase our price. How do we increase price at that very crucial time? There is no way to even sensitize the public, and even though we have to sensitize the public about the price increment, there was no opportunity. So we just have to swallow. We have to bear the burden until the whole wave will just pass away, and that is how it has been. The only thing we can do is just a forum like this that we can cry out for the whole people to hear, for the masses to hear, and for the government to hear. And it's left for, I don't know, the millers themselves or the federal government to intervene. I believe we have a price control agency. I don't really know. Then what are they really doing at this level?
Well, good thing we're having, this conversation, and like you rightly stated, we do hope that those at the helm of affairs are paying close attention to conversations such as this. But over to you now, Mr. Abdurrahim. You did talk to, the gap that you mentioned initially. But one thing that has come up over and over again is substitutes to, the importation of flour. Recently, we did see, the removal of tariffs for that importation. And again, the question on the minds of most Nigerians is, even with that removal of, tariffs and duties, we still have not been able to address the issue of the rise in, the price of bread. But let us hear from you. How is that impacting the sector?
Thank you very much. I did mention to you that I was a member of a committee at the national level that had an interface with the millers. The millers said the flour, their wheat they are going to use for the next 6 months has been imported, and it is bought at a higher cost. So for them now, it is until when they finish using this one before they can be able to bring more into it. So the old price they bought their wheat is the price they are selling it. Now, what is the next thing? Is for us at the association level to begin to think of how we are going to source for our own flour, even if we mean bringing it from abroad. But I will not talk too much until when our national body, which of course I know they are into a rapport with an organization abroad in such a way that they can import flour so as to bring down the price of these ones in the local market. That is what is happening now. So if that is not done, the price of flour will remain like that until when they say they finish what they have imported before they can bring new ones.
But what about substitutes to wheat? That has been that's been a conversation that has gone on for a long time. Cassava and
in fact,
yams even.
Recently, sweet potato. In fact, there's orange flesh potato.
And I'm even told those are healthier options.
More healthier. But we are still on course because the technology has not yet taken up fully, because government did not back up the production of sweets. They call it puree, potato puree. The puree is what we are waiting for. Once we have the puree, it has to be somebody to produce the puree. And then producing the puree too has to be under a certain condition. The freezing point has to be low before it is being done. So I think that is why it is taking a longer time. But cassava and potato are very good for us to use, and it will substitute the importation of wheat, thereby creating a lot of jobs for young Nigerians. But for now, we are still waiting for the development of puree and production of cassava flour, so that we can, like I said earlier, there was a time millers gave us what they call composite flour. That composite flour is containing, I think, 10% of cassava, and the remaining 90% is wheat. If the millers will still give us that composite flour, we are very, very ready to use it, because it will bring down the cost of production, and again Nigerians will be able to go back to farm so that they can produce more cassava for people to have employment. That is it.
Okay, you've spoken to some delays that are currently being had, due to delays from government. But I would like for us to touch on, the kind of support and interventions that your association and bakers generally across the nation desperately need at this point in time that could help, mitigate the impact on the rising cost of bread.
Yes.
What would those be?
Yes. During President Jonathan's time, there was a kind of subvention given to bakers in order to facilitate the use of cassava flour into bread. it was given only once, and that was the end of that. Up to today, nothing of that is happening again. I wish those things will happen. And this is the idea. You know, deforestation. Government saw the need to empower bakers with modern equipment. Do you know that China people are coming to take over the market? If you don't know, I'm telling you.
The Chinese
are coming to take over the industry in Nigeria because they have enough resources, they have machines, they have everything to produce, while we are still using some local methods. So if we are empowered the way they did at that time, giving some machineries to a set of members, I think by now, if it has been continuous, by now a lot of companies will have grown. In that process, we will now be thinking of competing with China people. Go to the market to see today, everything. In fact, there's this local delicacy I saw. They call it a masa. Chinese are producing masa in Nigeria now. Local delicacy, Hausa delicacy. They call
that
it
is made with rice.
Either rice or maize. They are doing it because they have the facility that they can use to modernize it. But we are still using the local method. So if government, and we had an interface with the Minister of Agri, and they promised that they're going to look into it. So we're just hoping that they will look into it by empowering us. When we have modern equipment, I think we'll be able to do more better than the way we are doing today.
Fingers crossed. Well, good thing you've started, conversations with, like you rightly stated, the Ministry of Agriculture and those other ministries. Over to you now, Mr. Richard Adeyemi. What other areas would you like to, touch or shed light on?
Well, the good idea that, sometimes you continue to say, you talk. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know. The Nigeria factor, I believe, has always been the problem in all these issues. There are some programs that are very robust, they are very good, they are good to go, that kind of thing, but it's always paperwork. And I believe at this level we need a proactive. The idea that if you put something on table, on paper, and you didn't execute it, there will not be result. So we need the result. Just as we have been saying about all these cassava things, it has been a very long issue now. Then why are we still where we are today? Then the issue of this BOI that an equipment has been given to our members, and it has taken many years, and there is no consistency. Then how do we expect us to move? So the idea that if there is a program or there is a policy that is very good, that is much welcomed by the masses, or by a certain sector, then the idea of making it realistic, making it to happen, not just paperwork, it will help a lot. If you are not very, very, very careful, if you allow the Chinese people to come and take over the baking industry, I believe, apart from the federal government now, bakers are the second employers of laborers. And if you allow the foreigners to throw us out of the business, then what will happen to our youth? Then what will happen to the future generations of this country? So we are in really problem. And we are talking about insecurity, we are talking about unemployment, we are about at least the few people now that are ready to put down their investment, and they must engage at least no bakery that we engage less than 10, no matter how small is the bakery, we must engage at least 10 to 15 workers. Then if you throw them off, then what will happen?
Very valid concerns there. But just before we go, because our time is far gone, Mr. Ishaq Abdurrahim, before we go, I'm sure most people that are watching now are saying, or what is on the minds of most Nigerians is there a time frame that we should expect, the price of bread to maybe drop or stabilize or something, where it's more affordable? What would your response to that be?
Yes, when the prices of the commodities come down, they certainly will come down. It's not only flour alone. It's not only sugar alone. Yeast, milk,
margarine,
everything that we are using. In fact, I don't know. Like I said, if there's price control, they should check all these market people in the market. They should check them. They are the major cause of these problems. There was an incident that happened in Kano State. The master bakers in Kano State said they would not buy for 3 days they will not buy flour again in Kano State. It raised a lot of alarm. The flour that we are already selling at 80 something, they now negotiated and they are selling it at 65,000 naira now. So that is to tell you that something, Kano State governor had to intervene. The intervention, they brought the price from 80 to 65. So where did it come from? So we are the ones that are, you know, sorry, let me quote one writer. See, Julius Caesar. Sometimes people are masters of their fates. It's not in our star.
I think it's good we end on that note. Sometimes people are masters of their fates, but it's not in their star. Have been speaking with the chairman of the Association of Master Bakers and Caterers of Nigeria, Abuja chapter, in the person of Ishaq Abdurrahim. Thank you very much for, just explaining and, answering the questions that are on the minds of Nigerians, especially regarding the rise in bread prices. And I have also, had the opportunity to, speak with the Secretary of the Association of the Master Bakers and Caterers of Nigeria, Abuja chapter, in the person of Richard Adeyemi. Thank you again also for coming on the program today.
We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. But let me put last word. Nobody in Abuja should be afraid to buy bread. Our bread are very, no any sign of bromate or shakari in our bread. That is certain. No anyone should have that fear. If it is happening elsewhere, it's not in FCT. We are much beyond that. Thank you.
I'm sure that is music to the ears of most Abuja residents. But thank you very much again for coming on the program.
Thank you.
And that's all that we will be handling today on Business Daily. But keep the conversation going on social media and let us hear what your thoughts are on the discourse for today. My name is Chiamaka Inendu. Thank you for watching and bye for now.